All right, let's dive into this. We're going to break down a class called AI for Everyone. And our goal here is pretty simple. We're going to cut through all the sci-fi noise and show you what AI really is, how it actually works, and maybe most importantly, how you can start using it, like today.
Come on, admit it. We've all done this, right? You say thank you to your phone, and then you get that little chill, just in case. And honestly, that feeling, that little bit of fear, it's all thanks to the movies. And that's actually the biggest hurdle we have to jump over to understand what this stuff really is. I mean, think about it. The Terminator, The Matrix, we've been shown over and over again this idea of AI as some kind of conscious, thinking, scheming being. And look, they're fantastic movies, but they are a terrible way to learn about technology. The reality is so much less scary and a whole lot more useful.
So let's just get one thing straight, right off the bat. AI isn't thinking. It's not conscious, it doesn't have feelings. What it is a system built to do one thing incredibly well. It processes insane amounts of information to find patterns, and then it makes predictions based on those patterns. That's it. It's not magic, it's just math on a massive scale. You actually use this every single day. When your phone suggests the next word in your text message, that's it. That's AI in action. It's just predicting the most likely word based on the millions of sentences it's seen before. Now, just imagine that simple idea, but scaled up to handle entire conversations, complex research, you name it. That is modern AI.
Okay, so that leads to the big question, right? How does an AI actually learn all these patterns in the first place? Well, the class this is all based on uses this really simple, but man, it's a powerful metaphor to explain it. Stick with me here. Picture a huge, open field completely covered in grass. Now, over many, many years, millions of people walk across this field. And what happens? They create paths where the grass gets worn down. The most popular routes? Well, they become these deep, clear dirt trails. This whole field, that's the AI's training data. Now, obviously, not all these paths are the same. You've got your superhighways. These are the really common questions, like, what's the capital of France? That path is super deep because it's been traveled millions of times. Then you have side trails for more specific topics, and even faint paths for really, really niche questions. But the key thing to get is that all of these paths were already created by the training, long before you ever ask a question. And this is probably the most important idea to grasp. You are not teaching the AI anything new. The paths are already there. Your job when you write a prompt is just to be specific enough to guide the AI down the exact path you need. If you don't, it's just going to take the easy route, that big, obvious superhighway. Let me give you another way to think about it. Imagine a giant boardroom, and it's filled with every expert in the entire world. If you just walk in and shout, "Hey, help me with marketing," you're going to get a really generic answer from some generalist up front. But what if you say, "I need a marketing expert who specializes in rural farm equipment"? Suddenly, a specialist from the back of the room stands up. See, your words call forward the right expert. So how do you call that expert forward? It's actually a pretty simple framework. Just remember the 3 Ds. First, give it a direction, tell it who to be, act as an expert marketer, be a scriptwriter. Second, give it the details. What's your situation? Who's the audience? What are the rules? And finally, tell it the delivery. How do you want the answer? You want a bulleted list? A formal email? You tell it.
And the difference this makes is, well, it's night and day. Look at this. On the left, that vague shout into the boardroom, "Help me with marketing." Useless. But on the right, look at this prompt using the 3 Ds. Act as a marketing expert for a family farm equipment shop, targeting farmers 45 to 65, give me 3 strategies and format it as a list. The quality of the answer you're going to get back is just worlds apart. Okay, now for a really important warning. Because AI is just following patterns, sometimes it takes a path that looks right but actually leads to a dead end. There's this famous real-world story about a lawyer who used AI for a legal brief. The AI saw the pattern of how case citations are supposed to look, and it just confidently made up a bunch of fake ones. They looked real, but they were completely fabricated. This is what we call an AI hallucination. And the AI isn't trying to lie to you. It has no idea what lying is. It's just following a pattern that it saw over and over again in its training, even if that pattern doesn't connect to a real-world fact. It's just a dead end that happens to look really plausible.
So this brings up a really crucial question, doesn't it?
Knowing that AI can just confidently make stuff up, where do we have to draw the line? Where is it a genuinely bad idea to rely on an answer you haven't checked? Honestly, the best rule of thumb is this. Treat AI like a super smart, incredibly fast intern. It's amazing for brainstorming, for doing research, for getting a first draft done, but you would never, ever let an intern sign off on a final medical diagnosis or legal advice or a big financial decision, right? For anything that really matters, you have to verify with a real human expert or a real source. And this is why a lot of people think augmented intelligence is a much better way to describe this whole thing. It's not artificial like it's a fake replacement for our own brains. No, it's a tool that augments our abilities. It's just like how a calculator augments our ability to do math, or a power drill augments our ability to build something. It makes us better. So in the end, AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but that's all it is, a tool. It's not a person, it's not a search engine, and it's definitely not a replacement for your own good judgment. The only way to really truly get it is to try it. So here's the challenge for this week. Use it for one real thing. Draft an email, plan a vacation, brainstorm ideas for a project. Just see where it takes you. What path will you ask it to find?